Sup, this is a little impromptu video on how to better Upback as Amane. What I mean by Upback is just when you are defending versus characters doing pressure and then getting in your face and then doing a bunch of mixes and everything like that. Eventually there's going to be holes in their gap, and you as the Amane player can do a standard chicken block or fuzzy jump, which is just Upbacking in block stun, and then going back to block with down back right away in case they do a low or they keep their pressure going. So generally if they do like a pressure reset, right? Oops. They do a pressure reset, like the Amane is just going to try to jump but still block if they do anything else. So I have 4 recordings here just to show some options on how to better Upback. Because if the Naoto player is trying to do a pressure reset and he does something like, let's say this. Oops. Right? Then like the Amane is out. Right? You get out of the block stun, you get in the air, and then they have to kind of chase you in the air or do something like that. But it's not enough to just jump out. I kind of want to show you options to rotate as you're jumping out to make it stronger, to make it harder for the opponent to kind of catch you doing so. So I'll just show the 4 recordings that I have right now. First one is pretty standard. Double jump, B hop in the air. This kind of forces the person to go out of the corner to catch you or to protect the corner. Like if I'm Naoto and I'm doing a pressure reset like this, right? Then like I need to chase the Amane to preserve the corner. So that's the first one. It implies that as the Naoto player, if I want to kind of beat this, I need to either stand back here and give Amane a bit more space, or I need to chase Amane as he's doing this, right? So that's the first one. Let's just try to maybe show it again, right? And then I would like chase Amane and maybe try to anti-air that. And I need to be ready for that scenario. So that's the first recording. Let's go to second one. Second one is very similar. 2 jumps again, but this time we're hopping backwards. Because if you use the first option, the Naoto player kind of has an incentive to stand around here or maybe stand in the air like around here to block your escape. But if you do this and he's ready for that, then like just by staying in the corner, you've left yourself some space. Why do we still use the hops? Why do we still use the jumps? Well, if the Naoto player is ready, then like maybe he's gonna anti-air at the bottom. We can't see it here, right? But like maybe he's gonna whiff an anti-air now, and then you kind of get your turn after that, unless he does something crazy. So just an incentive for you to bait something still, to kind of just say, hey, I'm gonna be in the air. You kind of have to like chase me, right? And if you mix it with the other option, then there will be times where the Naoto player will just back off to kind of prevent you from escaping. So we got 2 recordings done. Third one, it works with both the first and second one. We're just jumping and pressing a button earlier. So in the 2 first clips, I used the double jump. I used the hop. In this one, I'm kind of just like falling at a rhythm. So if the Naoto player is like expecting a double jump and getting ready to anti-air, or he's like, oh shit, I'm on his jump, I need to back out, right? Then like, oops, we caught them trying to think of another movement option, and then they're just stuck there blocking this thing. So you can mix that up, you can go like 2 jumps, something like that. You can wait a little bit, you can press it right away, jump forward with it. Just mix it up a little bit because again, we're trying to make it harder for them to catch an Upback, a successful Upback from us. Finally, we got the number 4. This one works mid-screen really, really well. It's just a jump forward into jump D. So it's the same technique. You fuzzy jump like this and hold down back after, but you just do it moving forward, right? So you would get the same scenario if like I did my pressure reset from earlier. Oops. Oops. Come on. Oops. Right? Now in this case, Amane is pressing something, but again, this is more targeting like if the Naoto player is expecting an up back because he's at that point in their pressure, and they're just like, oh, I'm going to move. And then Amane gets plus frames from that, and we start our turn. So, like, if the Naoto player was doing something like this, right? Now, of course, there's a little dash in, but for other characters, they kind of have buttons that could work at that range. Naoto's kind of more of a all-in example. But, like, if I just did a neutral jump, it would still work, you know. And here I would show a fifth recording, right? But I'm kind of not going to show one. I'm just going to show an option first against the fourth one. Oops. At some point, people catch on that you're jumping a lot as Amane, and they will try to maybe go for an air grab because it kind of beats all the four options that I did. You don't get to the point where you can mix your movement or when you're throwing an attack or anything like that. You're kind of just doing all of that. So the fifth recording that I don't have is the Naoto player is just going to read that you're going to jump. And you just never do. Some players will hard commit to a jumping throw like that. If you've reached that point as the Amane, you kind of get like a few decent choices. Well, A, you could just, swap them out of the air. You just down back, you wait, they jump, and you just go, my turn. Or if you want to do a super hard read yourself from the corner, like an air hit 5B, as they are jumping and trying to catch you, well, A, it'll give you a side swap. B, it's like our best starter. And like you've reached the point where they're looking for your other movement options, so you can just sit there and let them kind of mentally hang themselves into chasing a movement you're not going to do. If you rotate all of these options, it is pretty hard to catch, honestly. I haven't even covered like using other moves that can still like keep us in the air, right? Or jump 2B that kind of like brings yourself down, so you make it look like you're about to go forward, and then you just like gain some space this way as they're chasing backwards. If you record yourself with all of these scenarios on top of that, and you try to play it back, like random playback or anything like that, it is not completely free to try to catch Amane doing those things. Like, you kind of have to be ready to get like a very scrambly, elusive hit on Amane, because he's just trying to weasel his way out of the situation. But the more situations you can represent from Upback, the better it gets. I think that's everything I wanted to cover. I hope that helps. Bye-bye.